Great. So welcome again to the Microsoft Built for 2030 Hackathon live event. I want to remind everyone that this is an event and a community space for everyone. So please keep this a welcoming space. We love to interact with all of you. We're already seeing everyone share your location from the chat. So definitely continue sharing and saying hi from where you're dialing in from. And to all our viewers who are listening online, welcome. This session is being shared as part of the Microsoft Build for 2030 initiative. It is an initiative that we started really to drive innovation and collective impact with our partners in support of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And if you're here, you're probably participating in the Build for 2030 hackathon. Maybe you're seriously thinking about your hack solution. Maybe you're already building your hack solution. We're super excited for wherever you are at on your journey and to be together building with us. Today, we have two incredible presenters, Corinne Sharp and Gail Mercer-McKay, to be presenting to us on the topic, how to write a winning hackathon entry with storytelling and infographics. So Corinne is the CRO at Shiny Docs, and Gail, CEO and founder at Mercer-McKay. Both of them are founders of the WIT Network, an incredible community partner to Microsoft, a community partner to the Microsoft Build for 2030 hackathon, and also a community that really champions and focuses on empowering women in technology. And they do so through technical skilling of women and also professional development of women and supporting women through their careers. So today, Corinne will walk us through a little bit about the WIT network and then hand it over to Gail to share about this session on building successful hackathon entries with storytelling. Gail and Corinne, thank you for being here. I'll hand it over to you. Take it away.
Thanks, Gina.
Thank you, Gina. Sorry, Corinne, you go. We're so excited to be here today. I mean, I can't tell you, this is probably one of my favorite topics, is using the Hero's Journey framework in storytelling and helping partners really transform. But I'm also really excited to share a little bit about the network, which Corinne's going to do. She's going to start out with the WIT network, and then I'm going to jump into the story. And if you're watching, we've got free stuff for you at the end. So all the frameworks and the templates that we use, we've built them all in Word and PowerPoint, and we can make them available to you. So if you want them, you can get them at the end. We'll tell you exactly how to. So Corinne, why don't you take us away with our co-passion of the WIT Network?
Great, thanks very much, Gail. So why don't you just flip to the next slide and I'll tell a little bit about who we are and what we do. So the WIT Network has been around for over 3 years now, and we're really excited. We're a global and local not-for-profit that, we are really here to do 3 things. How do we encourage more women and young women to join the tech sector, whether it's in technical roles or whether it's in business roles within the tech sector? And we do this through skilling and development. We offer leadership training, tech track training, and in partnership with Microsoft, who is one of our founding partners, we have just graduated 350 women through our Azure and AI training with Microsoft, and we have another 650 scholarships for cohorts starting in February. So really exciting that we're able to provide technical training, leadership training, all sorts of education for women in the tech industry. We have over 7,000 members around the globe. We're in 61 countries and have over 400 companies represented, because we also work with organizations on their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and partner with them.
Next slide. Sorry, Corinne, I'm just interrupting you for a sec, but can people still apply for that next cohort? Can we, if people have women in their organization or other women that they know, are we still taking applications? I'm not sure.
Absolutely, and I'm going to cover that in a couple of slides, Gail. So let me just go through. So a couple of things. So we've got WIT webinars are always on available content. We cover WIT wellness, career journeys. We're launching a new series in January called Women in Sales, Marketing, Engineering, Finance, and lots of different programming that we do that you can participate in. And if you happen to miss one of our webinars. They're all available on demand for our members. Next slide. And this is where I'll answer your question, Gail. So all of our training programs, you can check them out on our website, thewitnetwork.com, and you will see we will be launching another Emerging Leaders 9-week program early in 2022. And as we mentioned, the Tech Tac training in partnership with Microsoft and Directions Training, we've got 650 scholarships available for women in North America in February. So you can go to the What's Happening pages. There's a dedicated landing page that will give you all sorts of information, links for registration. So this is an opportunity, whether you're new in the technology sector and looking to receive certification on Azure fundamentals, AI fundamentals, this is here to help women get into the tech sector, or for those of us that are still here, how can this help you grow your career? We offer a ton of workshops as well. We just finished a DEI workshop, Expand Beyond Your Current Culture, and we're planning all of our 2022 programming of workshops, training, and other things. This month, we're actually launching a new global community called Women in Software Engineering, or WIT-WISE. And this is going to be a dedicated community for women that are looking to get in to this sector, whether it's QA, dev, all of the disciplines of software engineering. We're going to be offering workshops, webinars, coding coaches, lots of resources in partnership with Red Hat. So you can check that out. Next week, we'll be launching that. Next slide. We also do a lot around mentoring. Mentoring is so important, whether you're in the fourth quarter of your career or whether you're new in your career, and we host mentoring circles several times throughout the year. All of our members have access to the Tribute Mentoring app where you can be a mentor and find a mentor, right? So we all need mentors, and if you have that time and passion to give back, mentoring is a great way. And we often offer a mentor circle facilitation, so you can take these learned skills of facilitating mentoring circles back into your own organization or communities that you're part of. And finally, next slide. I mentioned we've got local communities around the world. So part of the WIT network is you can participate in all of our global programming, but our local communities also offer events. We look forward to being in person again someday. They bring in speakers or their networking events or connection events. And again, you can go to our What's Happening page and see the local community events that happen. We host lots of connection times, Wit and Wine Wednesdays, tea times, coffee connections, global meetups. So just an opportunity to connect with fabulous women from around the world. So that's it about the WIT Network. If you'd like to join, we have individual members at only $97 for the year, and we have lots of corporate memberships as well. The scholarships we mentioned for the Tech Tac training are open to all because we want to make sure we're serving the community and women specifically who may have been displaced by COVID or who are looking to get that fresh start in technology. So please make sure you're letting others know in your network who may need support and looking for certification to help them out. So that's the WIT Network, Gail. I'm going to turn it back over to you for this exciting session on how to break through with great storytelling.
Thanks so much, Corinne. And I think, you talk about this being non-gender bias, but we do have men who join as well, who are particularly supportive of becoming allies and helping women flourish in their careers. So if you're a man watching this, you can join the WIT Network too.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gail.
So telling your story with infographics. Infographics combine, pictures and content, text, to combine to tell a really complete story. And I get super excited about this, particularly this infographic or these set of templates that we use, because they're so simple, so easy to follow. Anybody can be an amazing storyteller following this process. And, story is incredibly important. Our brains are wired to connect and engage when we hear story. I have a little story to share with you. When the pandemic started and we all went to virtual worlds, one of my first virtual events was a 3-day marketing conference. And I thought to myself, I've got ADD. I thought, I'm not going to last for 3 days in a virtual event on a conference call. And by the end of day 2, I went, I have been completely focused. I don't understand why I'm not doing email and doing all the other distracting things that I would normally do in a virtual world. And then I realized the presenter, and it was the same presenter every day, all day long, just like this, one guy standing on stage. He was making his points by telling story. He went from story to story to story to story. I think he had a PowerPoint up that would have one word on the PowerPoint. That would be his main point. And then he would tell a story around it. And it was a big aha moment for me. I mean, I'd always been a big, passionate believer in story. We've been doing it for so long, but I really lived it and I really experienced it and thought, wow, you know, it just reinforced for me how important it is to use story in every single aspect. And stories do not need to be long. They can be very short. You can tell a story very, very quickly. So I actually want you to sit back and watch a story here that is a video story. And see how you feel at the end of this.
I'll be right there.
Now, the storm is affecting thousands of families, people still in desperate need of aid.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me.
So I don't know. Let me get back to my screen here.
Hey, I'm professional rock climber Alex Honnold, and this is your last chance to win a brand new
I'm not necessarily, I tell great stories. I'm not always technically astute.
Well, and
So-
you're definitely not a rock climber, as I was just hearing the next video play, and I'm not either. So.
Yeah. So let me go back to my next slide, pull this up. Well, it wouldn't be a presentation if there wasn't maybe one little blip in it and a little bit of caching going on there. But that story, I mean, I don't know about you, but as I was watching it, and I've watched it several times, and I watched it a few times this morning as we were practicing getting ready for this, I tear up every time. I mean, that absolutely tugs at my heartstrings, and I'm in that story. I totally get it. And so what they've used something called the hero's journey. And the hero's journey is a storytelling framework. It was developed, or it was discovered and published by Joseph Campbell. If you look it up online, you can read tons of stuff about the hero's journey. I picked a very simple illustration to show you what the hero's journey is. And I've summarized it in 3 steps, because if you read the whole hero's journey, it'll say it's a 16-step process. Forget all that. I'm going to give you the 3-step process. Step 1 is the inciting incident, or the call to adventure. So if we think about our favorite stories, Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, what's the inciting incident? What makes Frodo or Bilbo Baggins leave their comfortable place in the Shire? There's a call to adventure. And then when they get that call to adventure, they meet and overcome multiple challenges along the way. And at the end, they successfully complete the task. That's it. That's the hero's journey. And you can include that in everything that you do. You can include it in your hackathon submission, you can include it in your Microsoft Award submission, and you can include it in the sell sheets and the fact sheets and the website copy and your social media, everything you do to engage with customers and prospects to try and build connection to do business with them. So if we were to take this and map that back to that beautiful Budweiser video that we just watched, we know that the inciting incident, the call to adventure, was an actual phone call. Our hero got the call in the middle of the night. He was sleeping in bed with his wife. He got the call. There's a problem in the world, and we think we might be able to do something about it. There's a problem in the world. And so our hero jumps out of bed. It's cold. It's dark. Gets his clothes on, drives into the Budweiser plant, calling people along the way, saying, come together. We need to come together and solve this problem. And everybody accepts the call to adventure. They come in and they say, we can help. We have water. We just have to figure out a way to get it to all these places that need water. Well, I know what we can do. We can stop producing the beer. We'll stop the production lines for the beer. Now we're going to remove the hops and the other things that they put into beer and just take the water. We've got lots of water. We're only going to put water into the cans, but the problem is the cans have Budweiser beer on them. So they've got to change the outside of the can to say water. So they've got to change the can and have it run a production line for cans to put the water in. And then they've got to get into their supply chain and their shipping and make sure that all of their trucks can be enabled to drive to these new places. They're not going to Costco to drop off beer anymore. They're going to Puerto Rico and they're going to Florida and they're going to California, to areas where people need help. And at the end, they have successfully completed the task and they feel so grateful. And we feel so grateful. And that was all done in 1 minute. But this is the framework they use. So this is the framework we're going to share with you and walk you through in a little bit more detail, so that you can do this too. And in fact, Corinne, this is how you and I met. We met with Microsoft Awards. So, you know, I don't know, for most of you people that are on this call today, you are all Microsoft partners, and many of you have probably submitted for a Microsoft Award in the past. And you need the exciting thing is that this year, when awards open up, they usually open up in February, you can use this framework for awards. So if you have never won an award or really struggled and not sure how to get above the noise, you know, then this is a framework that you can use for that too. I always tell our writers at the start of every season, I go, I want to read submissions that will make the judges cry. So whenever you're creating these things, see if there's emotion that you can invoke in it to get people.
And that's definitely crying tears of joy over their solution and that opportunity. So absolutely. And so if you're within the ecosystem and you haven't submitted for a Microsoft Award, you absolutely should, because it's a great way for you to condense your story. You know, someone had in the chat, who's the hero, with your customer being the hero, and you've enabled them along the journey with your solution.
That's a great question, Corinne, and great point, because sometimes partners think the partner is the hero, but the customer in these experiences, in this framework that you're using as a Microsoft partner, it's always the customer that's the hero, and the partner is the mentor. The partner is Gandalf. The partner is Obi-Wan Kenobi. The partner is Yoda. So that's, you know, when you're writing these things, then that's a fantastic point to make. So I'm going to share an infographic that we've got for our company, and I am going to kind of walk you through this template and how this maps to the hero's journey. So the hero's journey, the call to adventure, is this first area up here. We have a headline, a little descriptor of the headline, a broader descriptor, and in this case, we put in a testimonial or a quote as well. So this front section here is the call to adventure. And then what we need to do is, so somebody who's going to read that and go, I need my leadership to get noticed. I'm struggling on social media. I do not know how to be an effective executive and a leader on social media. So our reader now is interested in this call to adventure, and they're going to read more of this infographic. So this infographic has got I'll show you in full, but this is just an example of each mini adventure. So what's one of the first mini adventures that Frodo runs into? It's the ogres. He sees the ogres around the fire and they've got their people all tied up, and he has to figure out how to get them out. So this is, you know, this would be where he figures that out and solves that problem. In this case, for helping an executive become more compelling on social media, it's establish credibility. Establish your leadership credibility with an authentic presence. And we talk to that, and we talk to some social proof, some facts on why this is important to get to do. Then we frame the problem. We often frame it in first person. So we show how it shows up for me. I don't get anybody sharing or commenting on my content. I don't have enough time. I don't know what to write. Whatever the problem is, that's how we frame the problem. And sorry, hit the wrong button there. And then we end up with the solution, the resolution. So if this is your hackathon entry, your benefit statement might be, maybe your call to adventure is become carbon neutral by 2030. Become carbon neutral by 2030. Then the first benefit statement might be the steps to take to establish a carbon neutral policy. So your fact box might be 50% of companies who want to become carbon neutral have no feasible plan to get there. So that could be your thing. And then the problem statement might be phrased as, I'm in charge of our sustainability initiatives, but I'm really confused about how we can get there by 2030. I need more support and I need tools that will help me get there. And then the solution is what you're building in the hackathon. You can say something like, our solution, which is built using Power BI on Azure, helps organizations identify every area, the top priority areas that they can tackle first to meet their carbon neutral objectives. So does that make sense, Kareem, how I described that?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's bringing up the key highlights of your story of what you want to impart to the audience you're sharing this with. So whether it's your customers or potential customers, or in this case, what you want to impart to Microsoft as part of your hackathon application.
That's fantastic. That's exactly right. And when you are writing this, the most important thing to be thinking about is who is going to read it. So if you're writing it for the hackathon, it's going to be a hackathon judge. So put your hat on as a judge. They're going to read 40 or 50 or 60 applications, maybe more, all around sustainability and D&I initiatives, and everyone is going to be great and everyone is going to be heartfelt. So you want to put your hat on as a judge. What is going to make your solution stand out for the judge to want to look at it more and dive more deeply in it?
Well, and that's why this framework is great, Gail, because again, you know, the heart or the meat of your story is right up front. So if you grab that reader, that judge, right up front with what it is you're trying to impart, you've got evidence from a customer or a user of your solution right up front, it entices the judge to go, I want to read more of this. And then they get that bold headline, and then they get some more facts and evidence, and it really takes them through the journey.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you know what I've got here, Karine, is the actual full infographic. I cut it because it's long, but you can see here, there's your inciting incident. This is the opening. Then here is my first challenge, establishing credibility. My second challenge is building trust. My third challenge is strengthening performance. And then I wrap it up with a CTA at the end. So we always like to use odd numbers when we're doing marketing. So we're doing 3 challenges in this infographic, but you could do 5 if you have 5 really clear points that you want to make, or 5 clear benefits. 7 is a bit long. You could do 7. That's the most we've ever done is 7. We like 3. It's nice, short, succinct, and it's a very manageable infographic to do. So of course, when we're doing this, we always start with a framework, and our framework is in Word. We have the word count beside it so that people know how many words to use so that their infographic is going to be nicely balanced. It's always frustrating when a writer writes way too much and then you can't fit it into the infographic. And the way we do it, we don't do it in the order that you see it. In fact, we write the call to action last. That's the very last thing we write. We start with the 3 benefit statements. So we'll write the benefit banner, we'll write the fact box that supports it, we'll write the challenge problem, and we'll write the solution banner. And then we'll do that 2 more times. And then we'll write the CTA, and then we'll write the opening, the headline, and the description. So that's the order that it goes in. And we can make this template available to you at the end if that's what you'd like. So if you're considering your hackathon solution, again, define your 3 benefit statements. Look for the social proof, the online stats that validates this is an important market need. You can build the most beautiful hackathon solution in the world, but the market doesn't need it. It's not going to make it to the top. Write out your problem and pain statement for each benefit, and then describe how your solution solves that pain. Move into the heading and identify your CTA. So it's that simple. I hope everybody feels it's simple right now because we're really trying to simplify this for people. And then the thing that's really beautiful that we can make available to you is we've created a whole pile of infographic templates in PowerPoint because we know a lot of partners don't have graphic design capabilities. They maybe don't have Adobe skills. And so, but everybody's got PowerPoint skills. So we've made these beautiful PowerPoint templates that you can just cut and paste your copy in. You can put an image or a word in, a document in, and make it super, super easy. So we can make those available for you too. And that's it for the presentation. I hope we've made this simple. We're definitely, again, once we finish the Q&A, we will jump into how you can get these templates for yourself. But does anybody have any other questions? Karina, are there any questions in the chat? Because I can't see the chat, so.
Well, one question is bringing it back to the theme of, breaking through the noise. What are some tips and tricks, Gail, that you have that we've learned from 15 years of award writing and submission writing that can help some of our audience members?
Well, I would say the big thing, again, is the persona. Who are you writing this for? What we find the biggest mistake that partners make is they don't make it for their reader. They don't make it for their audience. They're really writing more for themselves. And so really think about, what is the pain that that person is going through? And here's something that I often do. So I was writing an ebook on migrating SQL Server workloads to the cloud. And I can get very fact-based and do the research and work on that. But I actually sat down and went, okay, if I'm a SQL Server administrator and I'm managing a mission critical workload on SQL, how do I feel about moving that workload to the cloud? So I said, I made up a SQL Server woman. And this woman works for Lululemon. I like Lululemon because I buy all their stuff. I don't know if they use SQL Server, but this is just for story purposes. So I sit in the chair and I go, okay, I am managing the point of sale system for Lululemon. It's my responsibility to make sure that that system is up and running and solid every single day. Well, I've got servers sitting right beside me. I've got a backup solution that works. I can touch everything. I'm terrified about moving this to the cloud because I don't know what's my disaster recovery going to be like. What's it going to do to my licensing? Can I move it? Will I have to refactor anything? If our order system goes down, I'll have sales screaming at me, customer service screaming, the CIO, I might lose my job. So I try to write from the perspective of the person who's having the pain. So really bring that pain into what we're writing about. Does that answer the question, do you think?
I think so. We have another question. What is the usual length of a submission? Not the word count exactly, but in terms of details. So this person or organization, they have a project and now they're wrapping it up for this purpose. So, how long or big should a submission be? And Gail, I think this is again the opportunity to remind people of the flow of a submission because that's so important.
Yes. So are you talking about the submission for the hackathon? I'm assuming the
yes.
Submission for the hackathon. Yeah. So the hackathon has a set of questions, and those questions are going to align very much to what I've talked about in the hero's journey. And Gina, I don't know if you're still on the call. I'm sure you're still on the call. There's probably a word count in each of the questions. Is there a word count? And I haven't looked at those questions online, but
Yeah, there isn't a word count, but we highly recommend concise and getting
Yeah.
to the points that, Gail just walked through, because that really shows that you're focused on your end user and the customer and how your solution can support that.
Yeah, so that's great. So I would say, keep it to a couple of paragraphs per question if you can. Keep it short and concise. And remember, this is another mistake that partners make. Don't ramble. Your paragraph is about one point. Your opening sentence of your paragraph is the point you're going to make in that paragraph, and the rest of the paragraph are sentences that support that point. Don't go off and make 3 or 4 or 5 other points in the paragraph. Each paragraph is one single point. So, so if you have 3 points to make in the answer, you should have 3 paragraphs. And if you've got 2 points, 2 paragraphs. The infographic that you create and the short video, and I would encourage you to make a 1-minute video, just like the Budweiser one that you saw. Concise it, work on it, and work on it so you can get it down to 1 minute, because that will be very compelling for people to watch. And they will, and if you do that, you can be very specific about your point. So you answer the questions, then you create your infographic and upload your infographic, create your 1-minute video, upload your video, and you have a very compelling solution for people to look at.
Great. Another great suggestion on the video, because video is such a great kind of content provider right now, particularly with people that have so many different learning styles. Please make sure you make it accessible as well with your video with captions. That's really easy to do as well. Another question. So good on the analogy. Now the question is, how much technical information should they explain around their solution in the actual submission?
So this is Microsoft. You're building it on Azure. You want to show that you're doing something that either maybe hasn't been done before, is really leveraging some of Azure's great capabilities, something specific. So again, I'm sure there's a question around the technology, but if there isn't, I would bullet point what you're doing on the technology. So again, keep it really, really concise and say, we're using the Azure B2C login to be PII compliant. We're using, I'm making this up, guys, because I don't know. We're using blob storage replicated across 3 centers to protect the data and ensure speed of opening the system. So I'm dumbing that down for you, but just keep it really, really short, and keep it don't go too technical, because chances are you're not going to have super technical people reading the judging. I could be wrong, but you may have some people from parts of Microsoft's organization that aren't really technical. So you just really want to highlight that you understand Azure, you understand technology, you're using it to its fullest capacity. And if you're doing anything unique, make sure that you point that out. This is unique, or this has never been done before. This is blazing new ground in Azure using the technology this way.
Perfect. So another question is, what about, you mentioned video, what about other imagery in a submission?
So we use B-roll a lot when we are doing video. So B-roll is where you can go to Getty Images and you can purchase B-roll. That's in the Budweiser one, that was, B-roll was showing the trucks driving and showing the horses walking. So you can definitely put some B-roll and put some music in there if you want. Again, it's all about how are you telling the story and what is going to support that story and keeping the attention of your viewer to the end of that 1-minute video. And by the way, 1 minute is about as long as people last. When we do studies on video, we find people dropping off even at 30 seconds, 45 seconds. So
yeah, that headline that you talk about, Gail, is so important. Same with video. Your first words out of your mouth, you want to wow them to go, I want to listen more to this person.
Yeah.
Another tip.
If you don't have video skills yourself and you want to find a really good and inexpensive videographer, try a wedding videographer. They only work on weekends. They have lots of free time during the week. They're often looking for extra work, and they know how to tell a story, because that's what they do with those wedding videos. They're telling a story right from the start of the day right through to the end. So great asset to have in your arsenal if you're looking for an inexpensive videographer to help.
Right. And Gail, someone asked for the link to the Budweiser commercial. If you could just pop that in the chat when you have a moment. Another great thing while Gail's doing that is we often get questions about, oh, the customer quote. And so a good suggestion there, and you know, you could go out and ask your customer or user for a quote, but that might create some anxiety of what to say. So what we will do is we'll actually write the quote for them. And say, you know, about your solution or about your organization, send it off to your customer or the user of your platform or solution and say, we're submitting for this Microsoft Fabulous Build for 2030 hackathon, and we're submitting our solution that you're using. We'd love to have a quote from you. Would you say this quote? And you put in the 1 or 2 sentences that you've written on their behalf that is obviously truthful. You will find that if they're interested in being quoted, 9 out of 10 times, they will say that is great, or maybe make a minor tweak. It speeds things up really quickly. You've got that customer quote, which is validation and evidence of your solution. And again, putting that right up front, as Gail suggested, is really important, because then the judge is going to go, oh, we've got some third-party testimonial on this solution.
Yeah. Definitely, it definitely helps. And often people will take the quote you've written and make it better. They'll say, oh, you did more than that. You're being too humble. So that often happens too. But definitely, if they've got something to start from, they can expand on it.
Yeah. Please make sure you're putting your questions in the chat. If you've got some more, that's fine. Other thoughts, Gail, as far as when they're looking at their submissions? So again, particularly when you've got a question and answer type submission, any tips on what they should focus on first? Again, just as a reminder, because these are really important things, what goes in the middle and what goes in the end line to that hero's journey.
I would say the last tip I would give is think about your customer's customer. So if you are, you know, writing if you're writing an application that's going to help an organization be more diverse and inclusive, it's going to help them put in programs that make them more diverse and inclusive, or measure those programs. Take it one step further and talk about an individual woman or man or somebody from an underserved community that was able to get a job with this company because this company is focused more on diversity and inclusion, and they're really being deliberate about bringing in First Nations people or LGBTQ, any of those diverse communities. Take an actual instance of an individual and try to highlight that.
Sounds good. I don't think we have any more questions in the chat. So if you wanted to carry on to next steps.
Sure. So I'm going to tell you our story is that I am so passionate. My dream has always been to how can I help Microsoft partners become better marketers without spending a lot of money. And so we built an application on Azure, love Azure, called Daxi. It's launching in January. And it will be a membership. There'll be a subscription service for it, but there was always the free Microsoft Awards module. So it will always be free as part of Daxi. So if you want to write a Microsoft Award, you can register and always use the awards module. And if you want the templates, those are free. You do not have to register for Daxi for it. You can just email support@daxi.com with the subject line, I want the infographic templates. And you can use them for your hackathon entry. You can use them beyond. They all are in a zip file. We'll email them back out to you. If you've got any other questions, you can email bf2030@microsoft.com, and they can get you a copy of the deck. I think is the deck going to be uploaded or available, Gina, for people to access?
We can absolutely do that and upload it into the community.
So why don't we do that? Because that way people can get the link then for the Budweiser video, because I'm not quite sure how to grab it fast.
Somebody actually posted that in there, so that's fine.
Oh, somebody's already posted it.
Because then they'll have the links to all of this. They'll see all that information, you know, the hero's journey as they're writing their submission.
Yeah. So that's great. We'll make the deck available for everybody. But we'd love to see people at Daxi. And if you've got questions for me, you can email me, gail@mercermckay.com, any specific questions, or connect with me on LinkedIn. But this has been, thank you, Gina. for giving us this opportunity to talk to the partners. And thanks, Karine. You're such an amazing collaborator and co-conspirator and friend for many, many years. I'm just so grateful to be part of this community. It's fantastic.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Gail, as well. We look forward to, seeing all the wonderful outcomes from the hackathon and Build for 2030. And if people are interested in the WIT network, all of the information is in here as well. Gina, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Karine. This was incredible. I want to just sincerely send my thanks for sharing all this amazing advice, content, and great tips for all the partners who are thinking about building and writing up their hackathon entries. And these suggestions are relevant for all future competitions, right? Marketing content. So I think it's really a great framework to keep. And also the support of the WIT network, being a community partner to the hackathon, a great partner to Microsoft, and also for all your work empowering women in technology. So to all our audience, just some last set of links for you to learn more about the Build for 2030 initiative, so you can continue to stay involved and learn and support how we're building and supporting the SDGs and powering a more inclusive economy. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.